Hi everyone, in this video we're going to learn about one extension that I'm making that is useful to load several collections at the same time from a link query or a link expression. So 1 year ago basically, I was trying to do something like this to find a method that I can use to load several link queries at the same time. So this was my query, my question, like if I can write something like this, if then I can have a method like this to load all the queries at the same time in just one trip to the server. And they told me that, I mean, that exists for XPO, but it was not possible to do it for Link at that moment. So they suggest this code and use bulk load to do just one trip to go to the server. So well, I stayed like that. I didn't say anything else because it was not possible at that moment, or it will require like way more effort to do it. So, um, like in the last release of XPO, we have this method like criteria operator from Lambda expression. So I'm using that and I'm creating an extension to do something that is called syntactic sure, which is basically a trick. The idea of syntactic sure is that the code will perform the same, but you will write it in a different way, in a way that is more understandable for humans. So it's not that the performance will be different, it's that only how you write it will be different, actually. So I will put this article in the description of the video. And again, we're using the bulk load feature of the session. And let me show you the extension that I'm creating. So here I have the extension. It's an extension for the session. So the first method is GetCollections. So what this will do is it will create a collection from a Lambda expression. And then we will see all of them in like how they perform, because I have an example for each of them. Then we have a different method, which is a different extension, which is bulk load collection that you pass two types. It's an extension for the session, and then you pass two functions or two Lambda expressions to filter those. And it will return an array of IXP bulk loadable collections. And then the same goes for this other method. In this case, it will basically load them when you create them. And also you have these other two overloads that is basically for a different number of collections. In this case, we're loading 2. In this case, we're loading 2 also. In this case, we're loading 3. So you can have as many overload as you want to include like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've been thinking to do it like until 10 collections, that you can get 10 collections in just one trip to the server. So eventually I will publish this as a nugget, but the source of this, the source code of this solution or test will be in GitHub also. You can find it in the description of the video. So let me show you the test. So here we have the normal way of doing it, like without bulk loading, and in the traditional way without syntactic sure. So here we have the unit of work, then we create the two collections, and then we reset the counter. I showed this in the previous video. And then you do bulk load, and then you do basically the for each. And in this case, we're using bulk load, sorry, and it will just be one trip to the server. So I wanted to make this like more readable or more easy to write, or at least for me, that's how I see it. So now see this new way of doing it. So I commented out how I create the collections before, and now I have this method. So it's called GetCollections. So you pass the type, and then you pass the filter, and it will create the collection for you. I kind of like this better than this. So again, this will return two XP collections if I make this explicit. you'll see that in the end it returns the same. So the only thing is that you can pass the filter, and you are sure that it's not going to be loaded when you create it. Because if we go and check the extension, you will see that, see, I have a note here that if you pass the criteria directly on the constructor of the collection, it will load it automatically. So I want to avoid that because that will create an extra trip to the server basically. So, or we'll create one trip per collection, and that's why I'm trying to avoid. I want to do all the collections on one trip. So basically, this is just a simplified way to write the same code. And let me run the test so you can see that the trips will be just one. So oh, that was kind of fast. So let's go and analyze the log. So as you can see, I mean, this was like the original trips, and it's like before I reset the counter. So after I reset the counter, I guess I should put that in the console. I will actually go here and edit this so you can see it in a better way. Okay. So let's run the test again, and you will see that it will be just like one trip. Let me clear this before and then run the test. Oh, there is no output if I just run it, so let's debug it. So let's go and check the output. So here you see like the count is back to 0. Then it executes these two queries in just one trip. The total trip is 1, and in the end I print the number of trips again. So in the end it was only 1, and I was able to load customers and products with just one trip. So that's one of the methods. And now we have a like more a little bit more complex, but again easier to read. So check this other extension, like it's called GetCollections. I might rename it because it's like you don't understand that much what is happening there, or the name is not that descriptive, I will say. But see, this is even shorter. That's why it's syntactic sure. We have the unit of work, then we reset the count, and this will basically return a collection list of as many collections that I pass in the generic parameters. So the first generic parameter is customer, so the first expression is for filtering the customers, and the second expression is to filter the products. So well, I guess we can put this in one line. I don't know if it's going to be readable enough, but that was my goal actually. So let's see if it's not like super confusing to have it in one line. So this line will make basically the same as we did here, or as we did all these lines here. So for me, it's like I was looking for something like that. And in the end, I will include this type of extension for the object space, so you can do it in SAF. But right now, these are XPO only. So let's run this. So you see that the amount of lines required to load several collections is even less. In this case, it's only one line, basically. So let's run the test and see like if the trips are still 1 for these two collections. And let's go and check the output. And here we reset the count. Then we have the two queries. And then we print the number of trips. We iterate through the records, and then we print the number of trips in the end. So we were expecting 1, and we got 1. So this test was like successful. And Then we have, well, this basically is the same type of overload. I will create a different overload with a different number of collections, but I was looking for that. So in actually my original post, I wanted to have like a helper tool, but in the end I just create an extension for the session. So if you want to give it a try, just go to the repository and copy this class and put it in your project, and it will just work fine. And you can see the examples in the test class. So that's it for this video, guys. Let me know if you think that this extension is useful, and any comments you can write them here in the comments for the video. So take care and see you in the next video. Bye.